New on CuriosityStream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Oh boy, here we go again. You know, it doesn't take long with the society that surrounds us nowadays. I mean, you know, on one circumstance, you have people out there currently trying to destroy our entertainment. Then you have other people who started off in entertainment in a way and are currently in political offices that are destroying the fabric of that too. You know, the serious side is foolish along with the foolish side, which should be to, you know, inspire enjoyment in life. And both of them are now just giant ClusterFudges. I look at it with not only I look at it with disgust and with a bit of why are we even in this situation right now? You know, like how in hell did we get to this point? And of course, the ongoing scum of racism nowadays. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why are we even doing this anymore? And it gets to the point where, you know, you try to explain like why it's still a thing, why it still exists, but it never really helps you. You know, I had to delay this episode simply because of that. I had to take some time to do a little bit more research because, you know, gonzo reporting is not good, especially when you just need to talk about the hard facts. And when it gets right down to it, more and more scum is coming out. Not to mention, they all have a connection to 45 in office. I mean, Acosta's gone, so we don't have a Secretary of Labor anymore. Epstein, considering if you knew him before his controversy or something, he was the talk in town. He was an elitist, and, you know, he was all about being a people person, but not in the same way you think of him as, especially with those, in other words, just hide your kids, okay? But let's get into it because welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Yeah, hey, what's going on, J360 Legion? This is the J-Man, of course, back behind the mic again after the whole week off. I gotta let you all know this, right? It was well worth it, because not only did I manage to get some certain plots taken care of, I managed to go ahead and make the WordPress look a little bit better and a lot more organized. You see, we're everywhere now. J360 Radio is not just on SoundCloud, it's not just on Spreaker, or, hell, it's not even just on Radio Public. Matter of fact, I think we got a little outpost on Anchor, if I'm not mistaken. We're pretty much growing in so many ways. I think there's some small little areas. I think Breaker has us, too. And I was like, ooh, who the hell is Breaker? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be a small little podcatcher, but to anybody out there who's always looking for the J360 radio shows, pretty much any podcatcher has us now. I would love to say that. I mean, I would like to say, like, the best way for me to keep track of you all would be to, I want to say so I can keep an eye on things, would be Podbean at best, or Spreaker, or even, you know, iTunes, I'd like to say. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm working with iTunes right now. They got the wrong feed for the mini bites. How the hell is this a thing? You know, like I said, it was a successful week. But there's still some little ironing outs I need to do, but not bad to the point where it can't be done. For those of you that have been looking at the YouTube channel, yes, I got an announcement on that to make. there are not going to be any more full-length J360 Radio episodes over there. For obvious reasons, guys, because right there you're looking at the new faceplate for J360 TV. So, that area right there is going to be worked on. As a matter of fact, it's going to be worked on right now as I'm pretty much doing the show tonight. I got a little bit of multitasking going on right now, even though I just want to sit back and play Mega Man 11, because that's the only Mega Man I have not played as of right now. So, you know, it was, hey, let me tell you this, right? You can't blame me for that. How long has it been since we had a true classic Mega Man sequel? I mean, and don't bring up Mighty Number 9 because, you know, spiritual successors are one thing, but when you get the actual sequel to something, it's very fulfilling, you know? And I just look at it this way. I'm like, okay, maybe 12 could be the one that shows the connection with the X series, maybe? But then again, you know, the X series are kind of hit and miss, too. I have the collection for that as well. I need to go ahead and just play through all of them. Hell, I need to just put it on the power play. But, you know, hey, I've already said too much. But considering you have me for the next, 20, 25 minutes, you know, you're just going to have to deal with it. But, yeah, it's been a busy week while I was off mic. I mean, I don't know exactly which one to talk about. Maybe I should have, like, imagine the Wheel of Fortune, if you will, and put Trump's face up there, put Epstein's face over here, put Acosta's face over there. Or hell, I should just go ahead and put those guys on a graph or something like that because they're all connected with each other. But I should have the roulette wheel for this kind of thing. You know, just click it and spin it around and just see where it lands. And that's pretty much the subject or the talk in town. If it ain't a race-lifting Hollywood or pretty much a LGBTQ baiting society, it's always something stupid coming from the political game. And then, of course, you know, from the social elites out there. Oh, yeah, they do nothing wrong at all, right? Wrong. The thing about it is this. You have a guy who was pretty much a broker, a person who handled money. And not only that, he loved to handle very young women. I mean, this guy had it going on for how many years of doing all these sex crimes and stuff? And he thought he could beat the system. He thought that he could get bail and never have to face trial for it. I'm like, what? Really? That's where we are now. You know, like, if you got people out there who will beat the system and do what they can to beat the system, you know, they will find a way to do it. And Epstein is no exception, especially when the new judge, well, I think it wasn't the new judge, it was the judge that was there when he was indicted. He clearly states, no, not at all. You're going to face your trial. And this is going to be interesting to see where this goes, because, I mean, where there's this one, there's others out there, too, that are just getting away with, you know, the whole system. I wonder about the whole thing with Weinstein. Like, did the Weinstein thing ever get resolved? You know, because I've been wondering that for years. I have yet to see him in front of a judge. I'm yet to see anything about his indictments. So, it's weird to me how we are even in this situation now. But it's not weird to me the fact that he got, he got arrested. Thank God. But, of course, you know, Trump being Trump, you know what he did, right? He went ahead and threw him under the bus. He said, I wasn't really a fan of him. I mean, come on, dude. These are people you hung out with. Now, if there's one thing I know about Trump, other than the racist, highly racist connections, I do know that the man does party with people he believes that's on the same level as him, especially Jeffrey Epstein. And the thing about that is, Epstein, this is not the first time he's done this. He actually entered a plea deal with Acosta in Miami. And, you know, he was a U.S. attorney then. Then he became our Secretary of Labor. And you see it was mishandled in so many ways. And then, like, the journalists were getting all up in that ass. And he was like, I think I'm good to recuse. And you see, under that plea agreement that was made by Acosta, he was allowed to plead guilty to lesser state prostitution charges and made to register as a sex offender. So that's where the registration came from. But you see, I feel sorry for the victims. I really do at this point, because some of these girls were as young as 13. and erotic massages. Remember when those used to be fun? Like, I mean, on consensual ways. Like, you know, you and your lady be sitting there and y'all be doing the erotic massages and stuff. Like, and it was like an art form, and you know, you could always change it up with whoever you were with at the time. But now it's not like that anymore. Things have really changed because, see, that's on the list of, you know, offensive touching and without permission, which can be utilized in so many weaponized forms. But that's the source of another episode for, like, weaponized Me Too. But right now, I've noticed all this going on, and I have yet to see anybody from the Me Too movement say anything else. Have you noticed how silent they've been since this Epstein thing came out? And by the way, that deal that we were talking about for Epstein, it also included immunity from federal prosecution and a 13-month sentence where he spent most of his days at his Palm Beach office. So, dude's still down there at the beach. It's, God, man. I mean, this is sad. But, of course, you know, there were some women that spoke out about it. And, of course, you know, I mean, it's not saying that the Me Too movement wasn't there, but these are women that are, you know, other women that are actually speaking out. They're not lumped into that same unit. But at the same time, though, they had to speak it out. And it's just, oh my God. This rabbit hole really goes deep. Hell, I should make a full episode with just Epstein's story. But you know, I can't do that right now. Oh my God. And some of these people try to say, like, his attorney even said he didn't know that some of these people were underage. He didn't know any of his visitors were underage, but he said that he knew he was able to have visitors that were under the age of 21. What the hell? I don't know anymore. But I do know this article. If you want to read up on it from what I'm reciting from, it's courtesy of NPR News. So, you know, NPR News is a pretty reliable source. I mean, you know, you can go on a tangent about how CNN is. You can go ahead and tell me about fake news. But I've already covered how crazy our journalism system is, you know, with episode 43. And not only that, but seems like sex trafficking and, you know, human trafficking in general, which is a horrible crime, is never spoken about on mainstream networks. It's an ongoing crime, and it happens here a lot more often than you think. And sometimes when you're in a stupor mood or anything that they can try to get you and stuff, go ahead and try to tag you with a barcode and put you somewhere. You know what I mean? And sometimes just to put you to work, not just sex, put you to work. And just treat you like a tool. But it is one of the biggest constant crimes out here, but nobody ever talks about it. And it's like, gee, what kind of news are we covering in general anymore? You know? Speaking of coverage, some of you have asked me, why don't I talk about Trump as much as I used to during, like, the first season going into the second season? Well, that's a good question. Well, allow me to answer it. The reason why I don't talk about Donald Trump as much as I used to is because he doesn't do anything that I don't expect him to do. You see what I'm saying? It gets boring to talk about him. If anything, like, he'll say something outrageous, or he'll go ahead and he'll bring about these ridiculous promises that don't serve anybody. And I've spoken about him almost every episode to the point where it was just becoming more, you know, close-knit, and it's me repeating myself often. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say that, hey, you know, I'm automatically a crazed leftist kind of person and I just dislike him. Believe me, there's parts about me that's very Republican. But the thing about it is, there's other parts of me, too, that's pretty liberal. But I look at it this way, it's like, I never voted for him. I voted, but I never voted for him. And you see, the thing is, I keep telling them, hey, prove me wrong. Hey, try to do something that benefits all Americans instead of the Americans you want to benefit. Instead of those racist people out there who think that, hey, guess what? Just because somebody's getting somewhere and they're not the same race as me, all of a sudden, the world's coming to an end. I need to be high and mighty. I need my ego stroked. I need to feel really strong in my small little peen. And what's really stupid about all that stuff is, that's out there in life. There are people out there who to this day are still trying to sharpen their knives to the point where they're like, hey, you know, I don't want to see black-owned businesses. I don't want to see Hispanics owning houses and being doctors. I don't want to see any of them involved in politics at all. Not in my America. I can't handle it. You know, even though that this last congressional class that went by has a whole flow of different women involved in it. And then Trump had the nerve. Well, I always wonder this, because see, Trump really doesn't read, and Trump really doesn't do that much posting. I mean, he's at least admitted to that, and it turned out to be true. But the thing about it is, I wonder what stooge he had to post all that nonsense about, like, you know, the women are being a distraction and that, you know, they're being racist too, which is weird because half the time they're not. And then comes the point where he also says if they don't like it, they should go back where they came from. And when you think about it, 3 of those women that were involved in that lump sum there, they are actually born here. You see, that's no different than telling somebody, you know, hey, if it's America, if you don't like it, leave it. And like I said in a previous long time ago episode in the first season, to hell with you. This is my home. This is my home. America is my home. If there's nothing right in my home and I'm paying taxes and I'm running a business, which I am, and I'm also working at a state of business to go ahead and keep things flowing for, you know, my personal gains and stuff, because hell, J360 Productions take care of itself. But here's the thing, right? As I keep doing that stuff, I invest a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of stance in this country. And why me doing that, in addition to doing my civic duty, hell fucking yeah. Yeah, you know what? Hell, we'll make this an explicit episode too. Hell yeah. I'm going to go ahead and speak about it if nothing's right. It doesn't matter about rank at this point. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter about how you feel, because, you know, people out there all around me, in the J360 Legion, outside the J360 Legion, in the Podverse, or out there in the filmmaking industry, or anywhere, have different viewpoints than I do, and I am so open to them. I like hearing what people have to say, but you got to hear what I have to say too. And the thing about it is this: I don't like Trump, but I don't try to follow on that bias as often. I just realized the guy just doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And then I also look and see, like, even if he is being president right now, he's not benefiting things for those important people who are minorities. He doesn't seem to care about a minority unless they are making about as much money as a former football player or somebody that's up there in social elites. I mean, I wish I kind of had Kanye West's money for a little bit. Though at the same time, I probably could get it if I just keep grinding and doing what I got to do and make big-time markets and stuff. And who's to say that I won't? But at the same time, it's like, you look at these things. He doesn't know you or me at that level of the working class. He doesn't know you or me if you're, say you're going to McDonald's and people are dogging you for going to McDonald's simply because you work there. And you just bring home that check every other week. And that check usually gets, either gets held up by taxes or it gets held up by bills you have to pay and other responsibilities, while at the same time you have to deal with either the stupidity of the place you work at or the stupidity of the people you live with or so on and so forth. And then, of course, if your parents, well, that's just a responsibility that doesn't change until that kid's at least 18. And even then, you wonder what the world's going to be like after all this because of all the things that happen, And it's so sad because we are in that cluster all the time. And it's just, why now, Like, when you think about it, like, way back when, people were always optimistic about the future and what it could become. And it could become anything you wanted it to be. The future belongs to everybody, not just women, not just men, not just the LGBTQ, everybody. That's equality right there. But when you got some people who cannot handle that, or they'll go ahead and they'll try to contest you on your stance about that and try to be president for everybody so that there's a round table, not a long table. You know what I'm saying? Not a pyramid either. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You want something to benefit everyone. I mean, chances are it's not going to be the way that you may have thought it would serve you. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be something of favoritism for you per se, but it's a way of having balance and trying to achieve something. Because one way or another, like if you're an American, then let's be real, we have the freedom to do everything that we want to do in this country. But if you're an American, you got to remember this. This stuff comes with price tags. And you see, not only are we citizens, we're consumers. And as we are consumers, what we invest in is usually of our own making and our own self-interest and how we get to where this point is. So you figure if you're not interested in the way you are paying for that home or that car or that cell phone or whatever the hell your expense is, then what the hell are you complaining about? You didn't have to go for it, right? That's something that you didn't need. And then after a while, you look at other people and you get jealous of them because they seem to be more better off than you are. You can make that change so you can be just as equal to them instead of playing the grass is always greener. However, you can't think about stuff like that if you're too busy feeding into why not me? Why not this? Or you feed into whatever sort of negativity that Trump is. Now, I got to give Trump this, okay? Trump knows where to hit us. He knows where to trigger us all the time. When he went back on that when he went on that tangent about all those women, and like I said, if you don't like it, leave it. No, the hell with you. I stay here. If nothing is right in my country, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to vote, and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to work as hard as I need to work, and I'm going to speak my mind on the issue. And you see, the thing about it is, I'm not going to gonzo report it. Oh, no. You would love for me to delve into my emotions, but I'm going to hit you with some facts. It is not right about those detention centers on the other side of the country right now. It is not right the way he handled Puerto Rico. It is not right the way he's handling Flint, Michigan. Which, by the way, you know what? Good luck to all you all that are still out there and have to resort to different kinds of water sources. I got to commend you. That's surviving right there. But you see, the thing about it is, it's like some of those forgotten people he talked about. Yeah, they're still playing the forgotten game, and then some. And then you take a look over at these women he was talking about. You know, like a lot of us have our problems with AOC. A lot of us have our problems with various representation in our government. We all do. But here's the beautiful part. When it's time to get those people out of office, simply by using the electoral process or whatever, how come a lot of people don't stand there by their message to get those people out of there? The voting is the way to do it. It's the diplomatic way to do it. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways you can do such a thing, but let's keep it clean and safe for right now. Yeah. But it's a bitter pill to swallow. But if you're not willing to go the extra mile and practice these things while you have them within reach, these people will happily take them away from you. For a while there, Trump wasn't open to certain ideas, and he still isn't open to certain ideas. And then his followers. And then everybody's like, oh, how come we're not impeaching him? Be careful when you use the word impeachment, because you got to understand exactly what the process of impeachment is. There are people out here that legitimately want this guy to be president. And as he is president, and as he is doing all this dumb stuff, there are people out here that think he's doing a great job. And unfortunately, when you impeach somebody, especially if they got such a big, annoying track record like him, you see, then people start to want to go ahead and say, oh, it's war now. I'm ready to riot. I'm ready to cause some trouble in the streets. I'm ready to do all sorts of things. I'm ready to just be all half-cocked and go ahead and do what I got to do. You know what I mean? Because they just went ahead and impeached my favorite president. I can't stand by that. America. Yeah. See, they don't realize what their favorite boy has been doing. They don't realize, like, you know, the dangers of that kind of mentality. Nobody ever realizes something like this unless it's too late. And you see, the thing about Nancy Pelosi is, even though you're making fun of her, and even though some of y'all are probably saying, oh, she's just weak, she just buckled under pressure, I'm sure she probably seen some stuff that we are not capable or ready to process, especially when it comes to the Incompetence Inc. administration, which is barely an administration, because if you've noticed, a lot of people there that are supposed to be representing certain offices are woefully inept at it, and then a lot of them either A, got fired, or B, just left of their own accord because, you know what, it's just too foul over there. He has an incomplete cabinet and just totally totally doing this stuff. And it's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Because all of those offices could have been represented by somebody who knew what they were doing. But when you have somebody who lives hedonistically like Trump, you know, and Trump believes that money is no object and nothing has a price for him or anything that he can pay, you know, all the stuff that he does to our country from here on out, it's not about just a price tag or money. It's about like everything else that's a standpoint. And that's what many, many people are forgetting. And then after time, you're like, why in the hell is this even a thing? And then I look at it. And, you know, like I said about those 4 women earlier, I mean, the fact that he said that, those women are ready to go to war. And as they should be, because they already are in a war in a way. You know, quite a lot of women I know, you know, are fighting for where they need to be at. And I look at them from time to time, I'm like, all right, well, I just hope your end game is as reliable as your starting point right here. Because if you become as corrupt and as vile as the rest of these people are, you were no different. That's all I got to say about that. But when it comes to certain racist overtones and stuff, oh, you can see it's right there in the message. No matter how many times they try to dullify it and stuff like that. Remember, you can't call a racist. Believe me, they fall apart at that. Even though they do racist things and all sorts of crummy overtones and stuff, they can't handle it. They cannot handle being pretty much their definition, even though that's what they do. It's the saddest thing in the world. But, you know, I got some friends that say, you know, I don't agree with Trump all the time, and I don't, you know, but I think he's all right. I'm like, you probably think he's all right because he's done something that has not affected you yet. But as soon as you see that effect, oh, yeah, you're going to be talking about how bad he is. Then you're going to be talking about, like, hey, we should have done something here and there. And at that point, me as who I am, I've done what I need to do. I've moved on because now I got to think about the next person that's going to go ahead up into these seats. I got to think about keeping them honest, too. And yes, I will be just as hard on a Democrat candidate as I would be a Republican candidate, which is Donald Trump. And then when you think about impeachment now, a lot of y'all are still pushing that. I think recently they said they're not going to go for any more impeachments on him, which is kind of smart because, you see, we got that new election coming up, which is good. And if these new candidates out there actually do something that's for all Americans and can really beat that Trump platform, which is possible to do, then maybe they have a shot and maybe, you know, we can have some sort of stability if people are willing to change for it. But then I also think this, right? I also think, why in the world do you think Trump does these things? Think about it. Why does he do all these things? This isn't the first time, and it damn sure won't be the last. So think about it. Why does he do it? Because it distracts us. If you haven't realized by now, a lot of the times he does one thing, but says another, and then vice versa. So, as he did not get that whole citizenship thing put on the census, which is illegal, but he tried so hard for that. That's all I heard about, you know? What about infrastructure? Anyway, totally different argument. You see, as we're all fighting and we're pointing fingers at each other about our own biases and false beliefs and fallacies and all sorts of things, we forget that our social elites, they don't care about us. So they keep coming up and they can go ahead and do whatever they want to do because they already have tricked us and bamboozled us into going ahead at each other's throats. And we really shouldn't do that. A lot of people have forgotten the gist of what makes a pretty successful argument. An argument should not just be about semantics. An argument should be about your stance, the facts behind that stance, and the support for it. And you should hear what somebody else has to say, too. If you can't do all that stuff, you really shouldn't be debating. And debating is supposed to be one of the most natural things we can do. A lot of people can't even handle this with movies and pop songs, or, hell, not even pop songs, just all music in general. Like, people cannot handle these kind of things. And it's pretty much a setback. Because either we had it too easy and we got lazy, or B, we really need to work on ourselves. And, you know, as I look at all of Trump's cronies and stuff like that have skeletons in the closet, and Trump himself has skeletons in the closet, and it's stuff that's already been covered, and it's stuff that's just like, you know, once again, we're just talking about this to the point where we're beating a dead horse, and Trump is that horse. And the thing about it is, I can't waste any of you guys in the J360 Legion's time with it unless it's something of significance and unless it's something that, you know, you and I, if you've been paying attention long enough, already know about. So that's why I don't talk about them as much as I would, you know, because I already got time to go ahead and see which one of these other people out here, because you got to think this, every Republican or Democrat that you know about there, or even the Green Party or any sort of other party out there, yeah, I'm looking at you too, Socialist Party, they all have agendas, and whether those agendas are going to be put across or they're going to go ahead and serve 1% of Americans that are out there that are going to be affected by this deal, it is what it is when it comes to that. And the most unfortunate thing is I'll be hard on them too if it's not going to work for me or anybody else in my group or anybody else out there who are really just trying to survive through these stupid times. And that's why it's a carnival of confusion. But, you know, I don't want to dwell down on politics for this episode because it, you know, we still got more and more. I think we got what? We got 2.5 more years of Trump or something like that, or it's like a half or something like that. We still got more of him to deal with right now. So, you know, just stay patient, see what he does, and hold him accountable to it. Anyway, so I found out some other things too. When I did the mini bite not too long ago, I spoke about that in clear confidence and conviction that, you know, at this current point, where are the real stories at? Where are the real movies that are going to take us to distant lands and help us see who's going to survive and who's going to struggle through something in order to become something great at the end? Because every story in every movie is all about change. And certain movies, well, nowadays, they're not about change. They're about nostalgia. As a matter of fact, I think another stage play is actually going to get a movie soon. I don't know about you, but I mean, Cats, really? Cats are getting a movie? Didn't he have a movie a long time ago? Oh, wait. That was the movie of the stage play during one of their most brilliant performances ever. I mean, it was interesting because they used to show it on PBS all the time when I was a kid. And you see the fact that Cats is still being performed in so many areas. I mean, I got to give that show, you know, some respect because of its longevity. But I also have to realize this, right? What is the point of that damn musical? You know, because there were times I was like, you know, I like this. It's all right, but what the hell is the point? They're just cats in an alleyway or something like that? Like, exactly who is... there really is no main character entirely because it's an ensemble show. Excuse me a minute. Gotta water my beak. There really is no main character per se. I mean, there are characters, but, you know, it's just like after a while, I'm like, who is who and who's fighting what? And that, damn, everybody in this show is interesting. See, they're not ugly. They're just interesting. It's like, because, you know, if anything, it's no different than Planet of the Apes back in the day, especially when they all had to go through the, makeup process and really look like apes, which was, hey, could you imagine a Planet of the Apes stage show? How good would that be? Something to think about. Hey, it doesn't mean I couldn't do it. You see what I'm saying? I can't wait till the Hamilton movie. You know it's going to happen. I mean, if we're starting to take all these stage plays and we're starting to turn them into movies now, I mean, might as well complete the trend. I mean, Phantom of the Opera doesn't need another one, though. Even though I thought Gerard Butler tried to do a pretty decent job. But, looking at it, I can see that everybody's motion capped to really look like cats. And I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people are saying, look, it's PS2 graphics. And I'm like, really? Is that because at the same time it just looks like it's just CGI and you can't handle it? Or is it the fact that, you know, hey, yeah, I don't have access to any of this kind of technology, so I'm going to go ahead and just try to make fun of it any way I can? That's just player hating. Might as well be. I mean, it doesn't look anything different to me. It's just one of them things where I'm like, you know what? If I had the extra money, I probably would go see it. You know, just cause. Can't review if I haven't seen it. You know? But it's just odd to me that Cats is actually getting a movie. And I think I was talking with one of my family members about that not too long ago. Somebody else that's really into the arts. And then, of course, you all know how I feel about Little Mermaid. You all know how I feel about basically any of these movies now. I think they're trying to push forward with the Supergirl movie too over there at Warner Brothers, and which at the same time is like, Warner Brothers, what the hell are you doing? Like, you guys couldn't even get the core league right, so you're just going to work on the outliers of the league? At least you're doing right by one thing, though, because at least now Batman Beyond is finally coming on the Blu-ray for its 20th anniversary, so I got to really, scrap and hold up some money to go ahead and buy that as soon as possible. Because, hey, Batman Beyond was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Like, it took me a while to get used to it, but then, after a while, I kind of just said, you know what, this is a damn good show. Why am I hating it? And then, of course, when Return of the Joker came out, that was a pretty deep storyline. Dark storyline, but deep. And then not only that, I was watching some B movies not too long ago, and Amazon Prime Video really grew into its own. I like it. Some of the stuff that they have on there, very schlocky. And that's just the way the J-Man needs it, because you guys are getting the Monster Fest this year, and I found a lot of good candidates for it. Some I can't name right off now because I want you all to be excited for what's going to happen in October. And by the way, anybody else in the Podverse that wants to join me on some of these episodes, you know that you can always email me or you can always call in on the hotline, and you got a spot. Okay? We'll try to go ahead and work this all out. And that way, we get some unity around here. But, that being said, I seen this one called Sleepaway Camp. Man. I mean, when it comes to like certain movies from the 80s and 70s, they don't scare me much. They make me laugh. But that one was pretty damn scary in the end. I mean, the killer alone, like I knew who the killer was. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't definitely her cousin. It was the main girl, but then there's something you find out about the main girl that kind of keeps you up at night. Not to mention the way her face looked at the end of the movie, and the fact that, that knife and that sound she was making, and you know what? Beat 'em down from Colt 45 knows what I'm talking about, but oh my god, it still kind of makes me think, because see, after I'm done watching a certain movies that have twists, I think of the twist, but then I always move on to what the next movie of the lineup is. This one actually made me go out and take a walk. You understand what I'm saying? One of them walks that really make you think of like this: what is life? Where are we going? Is this the real world anymore? Yeah, I'm talking about it in vague tones because I want you all to see it. It's called Sleepaway Camp. That is going to be the one I'll give you as premature. Don't bother looking at the second one, the third one, the fourth one. Maybe Return to Sleepaway Camp, maybe, but don't look at the other ones. Just look at that particular one, and get back at me about what you see, especially that twist ending, because that's the selling point of that movie. And damn if it didn't sell. But as of right now, though, I see like they got all the Jason Voorhees movies up here on Amazon Prime Video. So, like I've done with the Child's Play movies, I'm gonna go ahead and watch these tonight. You know what I mean? Just go ahead, sit back, get my kick out of them and stuff. Because, hey, it's been a while, and I need to go back to Camp Crystal Lake, especially after seeing what happened at the other camp, and that was not pretty. But, yeah, I see we're getting closer to the end of the episode. This isn't near Black Label levels yet. I just want to let you all know that, I kind of really needed to talk about the social issues that go on in our world. This is a variety-based podcast at best. And, see, the thing about it is that, once you ignore that stuff, silence is compliance in a way. And if you ignore that stuff, I'm not doing anything more than making a bubble for you, which is pretty much a dangerous way of doing things. We need to be honest about the things that go on around us. Keep that in mind. But, other than that, though, I'm glad to be back here behind the mic. And, episode 108, I have notes for that coming soon. And chances are we're going to have J360 Radio Live happening tomorrow. That will be the 6th episode. And it'll be a more fun-filled episode because it'll be me and the crew talking about some interesting issues other than, what we talk about here on the J-Man Show. But hey, I care about every single one of you. You all take it easy out there, and we will catch up on a few things later. All right? This is the J-Man signing off. Peace.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.